Hey guys, it's Average and welcome back to the channel. And now today we are looking at a great new aircraft. This is Milviz's PT-6. Oh my god, it's a PT-6 engine. It's a Pc-6 Porter, or more specifically the Turbo Porter. This is an aircraft we've been anticipating for some time, and also there are a couple of other ones in the pipeline from other developers. Notably, I think FGS is working on one on the forums. So Milviz have released what they call Phase 1. This is a version with wheels and skis as an option, drop tanks, cargo and passenger configurations, and the more modern glass avionics that are available in the later Porters, last one being produced, of course, in 2019 by Pilatus, the Swiss company that built it. It first flew in 1959, and, of course, powered by a PT-6, although the original version actually had a piston engine in there. This one, Phase 1 of this aircraft, comes with 8 liveries, as you can see here. And those 8 liveries give you quite a lot of versatility with the aircraft. Now, here we are on the outside. In fact, let's go to the outside correctly. In fact, no, before we go to the outside, I'm skipping ahead. Tablet. Visual configuration tool. Very useful, of course, in aircraft now. You can turn on all the lovely visible options so when we go outside, you can see everything possible on the aircraft. We've got drop tanks. We've got all the covers, of course, which is nice to see a prop tie down, because turboprop, they will freewheel. The radar pod on the wing. Usual chocks and tie downs. Of course, no chocks with the skis on here. That would be weird. These are big old school fixed skis rather than a lift up and down ones, so they will scrape. They're just literally attached to the aircraft for winter season. But let's go back inside, of course. Texture quality is Milviz. We expect it to be good. It is good. Of course, those won't go on because you've got skis on. They would that way. So we'll take all these off here. And we'll take the tanks off. And you'll notice that as we do that, the weight changes on the aircraft, which is cool. Sorry, co-pilot, you're getting kicked out for this. Now, we have choice of passengers or cargo. Right now, we have an empty cargo configuration, so it's the open, empty rear. Rear door is there. Now, we can fill this bad boy up all the way to the brim, and you'll notice how it dropped there with the weight, full of stuff. Or we can drop it down to minimal cargo. In fact, this green arc here puts only 2 packages in there, or 1, it varies, which gives you the option to have something you could drop from the actual cargo function, which we'll cover later. Right, but passenger version real quick. Let's fill it with passengers, shall we? It's all full. Look at the weights. If I click one again, the weight changes because these are randomized passengers, so you'll never fly the same passengers ever again. You will fly different people every time. They all have different weights. You can just re-click every single person. She was really light, whoever that was, 100 pounds. Wow. Or a fat kid. I choose to believe it was a fat kid. Either way. Changing passenger weights, that's a really cool function. I do like that. Let's go back to the cargo config. And we'll put something here for now because we'll be utilising this. You'll notice that hatch is open there because this is ready to drop. We'll pretend it's, you know, something illicit. This is a CIA-operated aircraft, of course. Let's get rid of this. In fact, without further ado, let's get this aircraft up in the air and mobilised. So, fuel pumps, batteries, generator. Power up the actual avionics here. And we'll get ready to get this aircraft off the ground. Let's flip the covers up on the starter and ignition. Those are our transfer pumps, of course, from the external tanks. Okay, we are good to go here. Right, so we'll keep our eyes here on our NG, wait for it to stabilize. And as it does, we cycle up and introduce fuel. I've screwed that up. Okay. That's funny because I've managed to get it perfect about 10 times. You know what I didn't do? I didn't unlock the fuel valve. That would be why. So let's spin her up again, a whole separate time. And wait for it to stabilize, and boom! Fuel. We have an engine start. Always make sure your fuel cutoff is actually on. Now you'll notice we can move and check our controls freely here, but you can actually put a lock on there to gust lock them. Of course, flaps are here. This is our rudder trim. This is the trapdoor we'll go on later. Because here you've got stabilizer trim, and that is inoperative, unfortunately. What are you? Oh, fuel control for... Right. Okay, so this is our parking brake, by the way, which is currently on, now it's off. Let's make sure that's still on. Okay, my controls are locked, I need to make sure that is unlocked. Now, of course, this is one yoke you'll never have to get rid of because it's in the right place, but let's close this up. Now, the doors are fun because storm window, nice and easy to operate. The sound set, by the way, is gorgeous in this aircraft. Unlatch, open, close, latch. Don't like your door particularly much? Yeet. Door go bye-bye. How fix? Click tablet. Configuration. Door reset. And it puts it here, we then close it, we then latch the lock. Boom. Confetti. Now these look a little FSX-y, which is not surprising given the aircraft's lineage. I will say the modern materials of 2020, used properly, can make a really high-end looking aircraft from FSX 3D vintage look great. This looks good. Like, I don't see a problem with this in the slightest. This looks really nice. The correct materials make the textures look fantastic. So, let's get ourselves out of here. Let's go take this bad boy for a flight. If I can reach that. It is a little bit close to the condition lever. Or you can always just use your keyboard. Okay. Let's get ourselves moving here. There's a little bit of a hop when you start moving for some reason. It's weird, but it does do that. How's the sim performance? Actually pretty good. I don't have any issues in terms of how this performs as in the sim. Come on, turn around. Let's go. Ground handling is actually pretty good. It's just when you're trying to do a very tight turnaround from a stop, it gets a little bit hairy. And like right now, where I just bursted off because lots of power in a turboprop. Okay, so we're going to enter the runway here. Nice and easy. Turn ourselves into runway heading. We'll give ourselves one notch of flaps. The aircraft's sound system is fantastic, I will say. Going outside with the engine on. It sounds so good. As I drift off the runway. Okay, let's get those turned off and closed down here. Should have done that earlier. Back to the center line, because, you know, those are important, I tend to find. Let's get this bad boy going, shall we? I can't keep calling this aircraft a bad boy. Counter the P factor in the aircraft, which I'm overcompensating for. And lift away. Really easy to manage there. Takeoff was very balanced, especially for such a powerful aircraft. Let's pull the power slightly. Now, of course, this is the standard G1000 already in the aircraft, but you have got all the other instruments, of course, up there already. Standard in actual individual steam gauges. Now, the final version, eventually, once it's finalized, will have the full working Untitled G1000 in here. But you can use the NXI, but it does do weird things occasionally, because this is customized to the Porter, rather than just being slapped in. So they actually did put some work in there. Now, overall, the aircraft is a good performer. There's no real FPS hit in the sim. That's a really weird patch of ground. No FPS hit whatsoever. The aircraft does exactly what you ask it to, and it does it very well, I gotta say. Now, when you are flying this, of course, you could use several of the modes it has. Now, this has the ability to go to beta and into reverse. Now, you kind of got to be careful with that, because beta and reverse are two separate things. One of them you're using the prop as a great big air brake, the other one you're using reverse thrust, which will really upset the aircraft when used in the real world. So what we can do is use it to slow down and descend very steeply, which I'm not going to do very much of because we are very low down already. But don't do it for long or at full power, because especially if you move the propeller back into full reverse pitch, the aircraft will do horrible things and tear itself apart. Let's turn around and head back towards Bellacoola here. Don't want to be up for too long with this flight because we are just demoing it, and it's not a complicated aircraft, but it's a very fun one. I will say its flight handling is very expected for a high wing, bulky, boxy aircraft. It's not that nimble, but it will get into very tight places and carry you through those tight places. You can get some very sharp turns in with this without really having to worry about it. Control's hitting my knee right now, so I can't roll the yoke as hard as I want to. In fact, let's get down here. There we go. Just not overspeed too much, we're only in the orange. But the aircraft does exactly what you ask of it. Low level, high level, fast, slow, it will do all of it. Now, of course, we aren't going to muck around in a riverbed all day, even when it's as bubbly as this. But the Porter is very, very agile. You will get the wake effects off the wheels if you hit the water, and you get dust effects too if you hit the ground. Power on, let's climb out of this like a machine. Oh, it does horrible things. I love it. Okay, so our runway is over there. So I believe we're low enough now, speed-wise, to drop our flaps. We'll come in very low and very acute here. We're going to try and stop as short as we can. Now you hear that whooshing? That's the wind hitting those massive barn door flaps fully deployed here. If you even hear a whistling, that sounds amazing. I've not heard that in any flight sim aircraft before, as I nearly go into the trees in a review. That would have been fantastic. Let's just slip her over here a little bit. Just nudge her to the right. There we go. Okay, power off here. We'll hold the nose. Little notch of power, because I know I'm just going to fall a little bit short here. Okay, lots to do as soon as I touch down here, so you'll excuse me being quiet for a second. Yep, I am well aware I'm stalling, because I'm not stalling. Boom. Where did we end up? Yeah, I came in a little bit long over the numbers there. I think I touched down just after the actual numbers with that one. So, not bad. You can do Super Cub type things with this aircraft. And considering how big this is and what it can carry, that's pretty impressive. You know what? There is one thing I forgot to show you all. How do I get back in here? Yes. Okay, flaps up. Parking brake off. We don't need flaps where we're going. Counteract the torque. Get the nose down. I am overcompensating horribly here, and I have really low sensitivity on my pedals, which makes it much worse. We climb up. We pull this. Oh look, hello world. Huh. We just dropped off cargo. Nice, right? You could do clandestine airdrops with the Porter. That is badass. Well guys, what do I think of this thing? This is actually a ton of fun. This aircraft is amazing. I really enjoy it. For 30 bucks for Phase 1, which means you get the lower, and if you get this Phase 1 version, you get the Phase 2 for free as an update from Milviz. That seems worth it to me. So I get this now to play with and enjoy, get used to the aircraft. And then when Phase 2 comes out, which is fairly soon apparently, we get access to the floats, the tundra, and the steam gauges for free, rather than paying more later. I'm down. Well folks, hopefully you enjoyed this review. I think this is definitely, if we're using the alpha rating system from last time, I'm going to go for 9 ab. 8.5 abs. It loses 1.5 for not coming with the full package already, but it's still in its own right a very finished aircraft. But I also hate glass. So it loses 1.5 abs because I don't like glass. Otherwise, it's a damn good airplane. Really good. Thank you for watching. Bye.